Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Justin Sandy and I'm a nature photographer and filmmaker. So we've had this really crazy spring lately and it just hasn't gotten warm the way it should. In fact, it's June 15th and I think right now we've had 7 or 8 days above 70 degrees. I mean, it's just insane. So that affects me a lot, but it also affects the animals. And it's just caused the springtime migration to be really just unexpected, and I don't know what I'm gonna find when I go out. So instead of going out another day and getting disappointed, I decided I was gonna do a little bit of landscape photography today. And the place I chose to go is called Dosewallips State Park. It's a little bit north of me. My wife and I actually found it last fall, and what we really like about the place is it's got a beautiful waterfall. So that's what I'm gonna go head out and try to photograph, is that waterfall. So I'll take you along with me and we'll see what we can do. One more thing, I bet you wonder why I'm carrying bear spray. So 2 weeks ago, I was about 3 miles up the road from here at a different trailhead, and I was mock charged by a black bear. It wasn't a bad experience or anything like that. He was just clearly, he wanted me out of his space, but it's just better safe than sorry. So I got some bear spray and I'm carrying it with me now from now on. So anyhow, let's go out there and yeah, I'll see you outside. Okay, let me explain what just happened there. I was walking up the path here. I'm at Dosewallips State Park, and there's a beautiful waterfall about 3/4 of a mile from the parking lot in a place called Maple Valley. And I came here with the intention of photographing it. My wife and I saw it last fall when we were up here, and so that was my intent for coming out here today. And I had known that there was an elk herd in the location, but I didn't expect to see them today. But I did, and all within about a minute of leaving the parking lot, which is really incredible. So I was just walking down the path and I happened to look down at the creek bed, and there's a cow and a calf down there. And so I got the big lens out because I carry it with me whenever I go out. And I managed to get a little bit of footage, maybe a couple of shots, nothing really spectacular, but it's just so thick in here and they're down in more of an open area. So to get down there, I would have to disturb them and get close to them, and that's something I'm not willing to do. So I'm gonna be happy with what I have so far. If I go up the trail and come back around and happen to see them in another location, then I'll try again, but I'm not gonna push any closer to this couple of individuals because I'm sure that the herd is not too far away and I don't wanna cause any interruption to what they're doing. They're out grazing right now, it's early morning, so. Man, what an awesome experience already. Came out here for a landscape photography shoot and ended up having an elk experience. So right on, this has been awesome. Okay, I made it to Maple Valley and I stopped at an overlook. I can already tell that the waterfall down there has got a lot more water flowing through it than it did in the fall when I was here with my wife. So I wanted to stop here and kind of talk about it before I went down there, because once I'm down there I won't be able to really say anything. I'm pretty sure that the sound of the water is going to overtake the mic. So I'm going to go make the image, take a look, try to find a good composition, and then after that I'll walk through kind of what I was looking for and what I was doing when I made the image itself. All right, well, I'm back from my trip, and it was amazing, to say the least. You know, sometimes you go out with a certain intention and things just happen, you know? Being able to run across those elk like that was just, it was awesome. I went out for landscape photography, ended up coming back with a few wildlife pictures. They weren't exactly stunning or anything, but the experience is what really matters, isn't it? So I wanted to take a second to kind of talk about the settings that I used when I did shoot this landscape shot, and also kind of what I was looking for, what I was looking at, and what drew my eye to the scene. So as soon as I kind of walked up there, I noticed this one sort of alone rock on the right hand side. It ends up being one of the main focal points of one of my pictures. And you can see that I purposely threw the depth of field out. This is something that you don't see a lot in landscape photography. It kind of harkens back to, 40 years ago when you talked about straight photography versus other photography. Straight photography was exactly what the camera saw. It was unlimited depth of field. It was meant to mimic what the eye saw. Well, I don't see like that. When I'm looking at something that I find really, really intriguing, everything else goes away, right? So I see this rock and I want to capture that. So I stopped down my shutter and to get the long exposure on the water. I opened up my aperture to get a really shallow depth of field, and I took the shot. And it's not the type of typical landscape shot that you're going to see, but I like it. I really like it. And so after that, I did step back and I took a couple of, sort of generic landscape shots with a much wider depth of field. And I feel like those were pretty effective too, especially with the way that the sun was coming down through the trees. It was really beautiful, dappled sunlight. Even though it was almost midday, the trees were really doing a good job of keeping the light to be really high quality. So overall, I really enjoyed myself out there, and I want to make one more note. I did use a neutral density filter, and that way I could slow down the shutter speed even further. I used a 3-stop, so I believe my shutter speed was somewhere around 8 seconds or 10 seconds, and that's what really gives you that creamy flow in the water. Some people like it, some people hate it. I personally think that it shows motion, and so I really do enjoy it, and I'll use it quite often. Other than that, the only other thing to note is that you probably noticed I used a really small tripod. Now that tripod is actually meant for wildlife photography for me. I use it to get down really low. It's very, very stable. But in this case, I knew what the waterfall looked like, and I knew before I went out there that I wanted to get a very, very low point of view. So that's the one that I chose to take with me, and it helps that it's lightweight, and it helps me to hike it in, even though it was only 3/4 of a mile. So anyhow, I hope you really enjoy the images. I'll throw them up on screen here. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel so I can continue to do this full time. And yeah, I hope to see you on my next video. All right, bye for now.